So today I'm here to convince you not to vote for Donald Trump and to place your vote with another candidate. I'll do this by discussing his history, the things he's said and done, his running mate Mike Pence, why he's not qualified, and your other options. This election has been rough on all of us. According to RT, 70% of Americans are frustrated with both candidates. 55% feel helpless and 52% are angry, while only 13% are proud. I feel like it's shameful and embarrassing that we have two of the most unfavorable candidates in the history of all elections, both running for president, and I feel like it kind of limits our options. We're all kind of waiting for Ashton Kutcher to come out and tell us that we've been punked, but unfortunately, this is not reality TV, and we eventually do have to vote for someone. And the date's coming up pretty quickly. So who is Donald Trump? According to Wikipedia, his father, Fred Trump, was the largest real estate developer in all of New York, making billions. Trump began his career in his father's company before graduating college in 1968 from the University of Pennsylvania with a bachelor's degree in economics. In 1971, Fred Trump gave control of the real estate and construction company over to Donald Trump. So if you didn't know much more about Donald Trump, you would think, sounds like a successful guy. He's actually not. He has an unprecedented amount of lawsuits against him, totaling 3,500. 1,900 of those were filed against him. 1,450 were filed against others. 150 of those was bankruptcies. The Federal Election Commission says that 15 companies associated with Donald Trump owe $270 million to banks. And they have for about 10 years now, which show that they have no intention in paying that money back. According to Forbes, Trump is worth $4.1 billion. But if he had stayed home finger painting instead of investing all of his money, he would be worth $6 billion, proving that he's not as savvy of a businessman as people make him out to be, or as he thinks he is. There were 60 lawsuits that accuse Trump of not paying contractors for work that they have completed. There are many liens, judgments, and government filings against him for that very thing. In 1973, the Department of Justice sued Fred and Donald Trump for housing discrimination and not allowing people of color to rent from them. They countersued the Department of Justice for $100 million and ultimately lost, and settles on an unspecified amount of money and agreed that the New York Urban League would do regular checks to make sure that they were no longer discriminating, and that is according to The Atlantic. Time magazine states that this is just the beginning of a long history of discrimination in the Trump family. In 1992, Trump decided he wanted in on the beauty pageant circuit. Jill Harth ran the American Dream pageant with her partner and fiance and filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump for sexual misbehavior, for forcing her into bedrooms, forcibly kissing her and groping her. Also, he would climb into bed, uninvited, with a lot of the candidates of the beauty pageant. He also is accused of keeping black women out of said pageant. From 2005 to 2010, Trump University promised students his real estate secrets. They had to undergo a name change because they had violated New York state laws by operating without an education license. New York currently has a lawsuit against him for scamming students out of $40 million. His court date is after the election, about 20 days after the election. Trump accused the judge of this lawsuit, who oversees this lawsuit, of absolute conflict because he was Latino and requested a different judge. He was ultimately denied that right. State Attorney General ordered Trump Foundation to stop collecting funds because they were not registered in the state of New York. They were violating laws, and there were plenty of allegations that he was using this money from the Trump Foundation, which is considered a charity, and not allowed to receive over a certain amount of money, that he was taking this money and using it on the campaign trail. Now that we know of all of his issues in court and all of the law breaking that he has done throughout his career and throughout his life, I mean, what kind of things has he said and done? Well, we all know that he said that Mexico only sends their worst, the rapists, the criminals. That is very offensive to the Hispanics and Latinos here in this country. In an Iowa rally, he said that John McCain, previous candidate for president, was not a war hero because he was captured in war and he was a prisoner of war, and that doesn't make a hero. He likes soldiers that aren't captured. He considers them to be heroes. He encouraged violence at a rally, offering to pay legal fees, saying, "Knock the crap out of them, and I promise to pay your legal fees," talking about his supporters using violence against protesters at his rally. John R. O'Donnell's 1991 book, Trumped, says that laziness is a black trait. He calls women slobs, pigs, fat, flat-chested, not attractive. And in a profile in the New York Times in 1992, he's quoted saying, "You have to treat them like shit to get them to respect you." Not only that, I'm sure we're all aware that he was caught on a hot mic talking about basically committing sexual assault and sexual misconduct. He's also quoted Mussolini saying, "I would rather live one day as a lion than 100 years as a sheep." When Chuck Todd from MSNBC asked him about this, he replied, "What difference does it make? He was an interesting dictator." Any other candidate that was running for president would have been out of the race based on just a few of these things alone. He is unethical, he's not a great businessman, and he has absolutely no experience in politics whatsoever. So what is his vice president like? Sometimes the vice president wins over the country and makes people want to vote. Well, Mike Pence is famous for being anti-LGBT. He was against adding LGBT people to the hate crime law, meaning that people could commit hate crimes against them and they wouldn't be considered hate crimes. He also tried to put into place the Religious Freedom Restoration Act to allow businesses to deny service to the LGBT community, which ultimately did pass in Indiana. He also voted against Employment Non-Discrimination Act, which means that people could choose not to hire people based on their sexual orientation, and it wouldn't be discrimination. In 2000, he said that federal funding should be redirected to gay therapy rather than HIV to change their sexual behavior instead of encouraging this sexual behavior by supporting, a cure for HIV. His outlook on abortion is not much better. He said abortion should be outlawed, even in the case of rape. And he is quoting, saying, "We'd have an epidemic of women claiming rape just to have abortions. When you have an abortion, you get several days off of work to recover. What if women go out and get raped on purpose just to get off work?" This is all according to non-biased ontheissues.org's and Planned Parenthood. He also believes that global warming is a myth, though it's been proved by scientists all over the world. And he has voted against every single Clean Energy and Clean Air Act and bill that has come through Congress. Every single one he has voted against. So who can I vote for? Is there anyone left? Well, there's Hillary. Hillary Clinton is probably our best bet at beating Trump, and I know that she is unfavorable. However, it's kind of our only hope against Trump. I'm not a fan either, but we have to do what we have to do to be able to keep a misogynistic, bad businessman, horrible ethics, racist man out of the White House. We can't have him in there. Hillary Clinton has had a lot of controversy around her, considering Benghazi, her emails, the DNC leaks, the Goldman Sachs speeches. But in all reality, she is less likely to kill us within the next 4 years. And she's not going to set us back 70 years either, both racially and with women's rights. We have Gary Johnson. He was the New Mexico governor from 95 to 2003. He was on the 2012 ticket and had 1.3 million votes more than any other libertarian in the race. He will be on all 50 ballots, or all 50 state ballots, and his policies include less government structure, less of them intervening, and basically over-the-counter drugs, marijuana legalization, things like that. But you'll also be able to go to a pharmacy and pick up heroin, which probably won't pass thanks to Congress. There's Jill Stein, who is a medical doctor and ran in 2012. She is all about renewable energy, creating jobs out of renewable energy, cutting military funding by 50%, and legalizing weed, making Medicare for all systems. So, do we vote third party to break up the two-party system, or do we give our votes to Hillary Clinton just to avoid Donald Trump? That is your personal decision. But at this point, I think we really need to focus on just keeping Donald Trump out of the House. Yes, it's unfortunate that we have these two people to choose from. It is unfortunate. However, I think we just need to do what we need to do to keep our country safe at this point, or the safest that it possibly can be, because I do believe that Donald Trump will negatively impact our relationships with foreign countries, with other presidents, other dictators in other places. I think that he will set us back. And one of the scariest things about Donald Trump isn't even necessarily Donald Trump and his beliefs, but his supporters, his radical supporters, who are going out and committing hate crimes and, racial crimes just because they think it's okay because of what Donald Trump says. He encourages bad behavior from all. He makes it okay for men to sexually assault people. He makes it okay to perpetuate rape culture here in America. It is disgusting. He's been accused of so many different kinds of sexual misconduct, even before the election and before the past 2 weeks. He's going to socially set us back, probably back to the 50s, and it's going to be sad. And hopefully he's never around any kind of nuclear bombs or any weapons of mass destruction whatsoever, and has no interaction with anyone who does have those weapons, because he's hot-headed, he's temperamental, and he has no self-control whatsoever, along with being impulsive. These are facts. There are numbers. It's based on the words that he has said and the actions that he has shown us. It's terrifying. So I encourage you to go out and vote. Go vote. It's November 8th. We all need to get out and vote, and don't vote for Donald Trump. Keep our country safe. 4 years is not a long time. I don't think Hillary can ruin very much in 4 years. And then we can have a chance at candidates that we really do appreciate. Thank you.
Yay.
You're like